How's it going?
Just started it.
Oh, well, good. It'll go well. It just takes some time.
Right? Yep.
I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot.
Propanolol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one, I really wish I could get like Melinda to come on. Work friends or just colleagues?
Right.
Because I think she would do well on that one.
Well, shit.
Well.
Okay. One feels like a breakup, the other feels like getting caught. Most people use these words wrong and it costs them. Rob recovering from surgery, back soon. What this episode covers and why it matters. Legal line, nobody draws for you. Fired means cause. You can talk about all that stuff, the technicalities and all that. So I don't know. I'm just not.
HR codes, both differently
in
their life.
I gotta be careful what I say on this one since I've been fired so many times.
Have you ever been fired, Jesse? Or have you ever been laid off?
No, never.
What the hell is the Sigma tax?
Look it up.
Being fired carries courtroom energy. It does. It kind of does.
Just test the chat. Make sure it's going.
Sigma tax.
There we go. The stigma tax.
Oh, stigma.
Yes,
I put sigma.
What is that meaning? First question everyone asks, what did you do? Oh, yeah, being fired carries courtroom energy. Your family treats you different. Social media.
The stigma tax refers to either an economic penalty, higher cost restrictions applied to industries or individuals based on societal stigma, or a voluntary tax checked off used to fund initiatives reducing stigma. I don't like that. That's stupid.
Well, no, it's the stigma of getting fired and the mark that it puts on you.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
and how taxing it is.
I see.
Unemployment and money realities. Fired for cause can disqualify you from unemployment. Laid off almost always qualifies. Appeal processes exist, but most people never fire. Severance, yeah, so we can talk about the unemployment hoops that you have to jump through sometimes and the response that employers give. COBRA, benefit gaps, yeah, lapse in insurance and all that. How each one hits your job search. Reason for leaving, yeah. Reason for leaving, or the people put on their applications. Have you ever been fired from a job? And how to own that story in less than 30 seconds or less. That's something I struggle with. How to talk to you.
You just own it. That's all you got to do is own it.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been fired. Yes, I have been let go from a job. The only thing is you have to own the reason why. And what did you learn from it? That's a big thing. If somebody's been fired from a job, we all know that everybody... Well, I don't want to say that yet, but yes.
Yeah. Sign nothing, say nothing, go home and breathe. Read every document. Yeah. Get your termination reason in writing. If they
non-disparagement clauses. I can never say that word.
Neither is better. What matters is how informed you are before, during, and after. The worst part is the story you tell yourself for the next 6 months. Yeah.
I can say that
And
again.
episode 5, work friends or just colleagues. Next week, Greg and Jesse and hopefully Robbie. All right.
Did you print it out?
Yes, I like printing shit out. I'm a tangible person.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
Whatever.
It does.
I like paper.
I like cookies. You like cookies. We all like cookies.
Niggers.
That's recorded, by the way.
I know.
I'm going to put it on there. It's going to be a cut.
You won't.
See how this person is so racist. Yeah.
I'm going to go cut it out.
Cut it out.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the YoureTooValuable. Let's try this again. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Do not use that. Let me take a drink of water.
Water. You have your water today.
My water. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YoureTooValuable podcast. I'm one of your hosts here, Gregory. I also have another one of our co-hosts here. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. It's JessePearson. Glad to be back with you guys. We have another great episode today. Can't wait to get into it with you.
Are you really great to be back? Happy to be back?
Of course. I love doing this. Trust me.
I do too, actually. I really do.
Me.
I really love doing it. It has become...
I need this.
It has become kind of like therapy. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what you were kind of getting at. It's become sort of like therapy on the fact that if I can actually say something and talk to somebody and tell them what I feel, and hopefully you listen. If you don't listen, then you never know. But today we're going to be talking about some really interesting things on whether, if given the opportunity or choice, would you rather be fired or would you rather be laid off? And or what the differences are, and so that way you can make an educated decision. So let's also get to the kind of elephant in the room that once again, there's only 2 of us here. We are missing our other special guest host or regular host. Almost seems like a special guest host this time. But Robbie's not here. He is still recovering from surgery. I do have some good news. He is mending. He is getting better. So we are very hopeful he will be back very soon. And Jesse, I miss him. Do you miss him?
Of course. The banter that he brings, especially, I've been saying that these last couple of episodes. That's like I'm in the war room alone by myself with HR. Like I said in the last episode, I don't like being in the room by myself with HR.
That's because HR can come after you. And so...
Wow.
I mean, HR is your friend.
Wow.
But, yeah. Anyway, so let's get into the topic today. Today, maybe a little bit shorter episode, because I just want to kind of get to it as this is very important for me, and it probably has affected or effected. I can never get that right word. What is it? Cause affected. And affected. Cause, whatever. One of those two. That it kind of affects us all. Effect. There you go. It affects us all. I have a pen in my hand. I'm going to put that down, because if not, I'm going to keep using it. It affects us all in one way or another, that we've all been laid off, and more than likely, we've all been fired.
Or know
Whether or not,
someone. You may not have, but definitely
well,
know
yes,
someone at
we
least.
and you know somebody that is so, or that has been, and it's kind of interesting because we always get that question of, you know, am I able to, or can I tell somebody that I am eligible for not eligible for rehire? Let me start that again. Uh, we all have that question in an interview of, were you ever laid off or fired from a job? Right? That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the
Or on the
case? And who knows if we
application
are?
itself. Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Or right on the application itself. Have you ever been fired from a job?
Right. And how many people, let's see, everybody raise their hand. How many people have always been honest on that question and answered yes to that question? Anyone? Anyone?
No.
Oh, wow. We actually had one person put their hand up. I don't know if that's true or not, but, we're going to take their word for it.
No.
Yeah, the thing is that there is a huge difference between being laid off or being terminated. And the one thing that we have to know is sometimes you're given that choice. Would you rather resign, quit, laid off, or you're fired? And there's a huge difference between the three of those. Today we're going to talk about being fired or being laid off. Which one is the difference? And so it's a lot of things that happen, not really towards the beginning of the situation. It's more towards what happens afterwards. And so, Jesse, have you ever been laid off? I'll put it to you that way. Have you ever been laid off?
I have been through separation of employment in the past.
Separation. Huh. Yeah. Different way of saying that. Okay.
That's the technical term.
I
Separation
want
of employment, and being in Colorado and also being from Montana of at will states. So
no, I'm not going to get into
an
the at-will thing.
understanding of an agreement between the employer and employee that you can work as long as you want to work, and you cannot work there as long as you don't want to not work there, and vice versa as an employee.
Now who is being
Employer.
all HRE and trying to use the proper term? That's normally me.
You betcha.
Anyways,
you betcha. Our friend group and my nickname of Technical Timothy. Come on now.
Oh boy, here we go. But no, what I can say is that if you're fired, it generally means for cause. If you're laid off, it means there's a business reason, normally a business reason behind it. And I would say about 99% of the reason why there should be a business reason behind it. And but there is a difference between fired and laid off. And those two words, it changes everything. And then also you have your terminations, there's separation, because it's something you did that was wrong, that you did or didn't do. And then layoffs are not really supposed to be personal. They're just supposed to be there to, do a reduction in force or RIF. And that just happens. And it happens to just about every company at one time or another. Now from an HR point of view, and Jesse, I know you're going to sit there a lot, and I'm going to talk a lot because of the way that this kind of works out for us is this is very technical, and I'm going to ask your opinion. Right. So please bear with me a little bit.
That's okay.
We do
you
code.
Love getting into this.
I do. This is the deep down dirty stuff segment. Of HR. Yeah.
Enjoy this segment because I know you love this.
Oh no, I've got a story a little bit later on that I want to talk about because I just I'm just gonna say it now. The way that my friends, I don't know if this certain individual is on this podcast today or not. If you're looking at the video, I'm shaking my head. Yes, they are, or he is. Of always using the air quotes. Laid off. Oh, you were laid off again. Okay, like it's
Right.
always my choice. Anyway, so I'll get more into that story later because I really want to talk about that because that's a big thing. But we in HR, it is coded completely different. It's listed differently. It shows up differently in our systems. We have to put on the reason why if there was a layoff or a termination, and that has to go in there. Never mind. We don't always have to put a reason. Don't say I said that. That actually may come back to haunt me a little bit.
Be fortunate you work at a company that has such system.
This is true. Yeah, that is very true. Because there are some companies that one are too small.
Small businesses that don't use stuff like that.
Who don't. Yeah, a lot of paper files, a lot of these lovely little things here, which are called sticky notes, and those get thrown around everywhere, and it's kind of interesting because you go in there and you see them everywhere.
Right.
But nobody really explains to you the difference between the two. Have you ever been explained the two, other than probably when we were having like kind of a pre-discussion about what this whole topic was about?
No, yep, I have, and we learned some of this, I think, in college and just business classes as well, and then just through my experience working for corporations, have experienced that as well.
So do you think that you were adequately given that information so that way you could make a judgment call based on which one happened?
Eventually, but at first it was definitely assumed when I first entered working for more corporate organizations, it was just assumed that I knew which button to press and what to pick.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking more on like the manager side.
Mm-hmm.
What about as an employee or a team member? Do you feel that you were ever given that information before coming into management?
Oh no, definitely not. Rarely is that those kind of terms passed along until you're sitting there facing the reality of what those terms mean. And even then, when those terms are being told to you and given, they're not defined at separation as well, which is very frustrating.
Right, and that's completely true. But the one simple fact of out of all of these words that we've used here today is you're without a job. That's number one.
Yep.
And so when you're without a job, that's all that matters to you. You have no income coming in. You got to see if you can apply or qualify for unemployment. Look for another job, which is always a full-time job. But the biggest thing is that you're without at that moment.
Yep.
And
terrifying.
Yeah, it's very terrifying, and it's something that people don't explain to you at all, and that's something that you need to kind of understand, and hopefully that's what our listeners can get out there, or our viewers out there can take from this conversation. The other one that I'd like to point out is the big part of what people call at will and what that actually means. There is this fantastic TikToker that's out there. I would love to get a hold of him. He's an employment attorney, and I love the fact that he has lots and lots of videos out there on TikTok that talks about at will. And what I like the fact of is that he states that at will is something that they can terminate you for legal reasons. And I love the way that he states that. And it's for legal reasons. And as an employment attorney, he has stated this is not from me, that it's his job to find out that the company did terminate you for a legal reason, and whether or not that is true or not.
Legal reason.
Oh yeah, but also yes, for the illegal reasons, and unfortunately that happens too. And I can say that it could be kind of twofold when it comes to legal or illegal reasons. Is one, the company may not know, and that's kind of sad because they may not have had the best HR person they've ever had, or me working for them. So, that means that they don't know. And they don't have somebody as perfect as I am that gives them the best information that they need to make um, the best decision possible. And so I think that's one of the things that kind of hurts, especially like you were talking about earlier, Jesse, of the smaller business.
I love when
Even
your
in
voice switches. When we
What was
can
that?
really, I love when your voice switches to that just wonderful HR tone of speaking down from the terrace of your White Castle. I
No,
just
why do we always have
love
to
when
bring that up? No.
I just love hearing the switch. It's just great.
Does my voice really change? If anybody's out
Yes.
there and you can see the change or hear the change, please let me know. I know that I do have an HR voice. Every HR person has to have an HR
We
voice,
love it.
and it almost, I feel, and please tell me, that it becomes almost monotone, or you can't really, have
Not
feeling in it.
monotone, more of like a hierarchy
Oh,
tone.
it's like I'm better than you or something. Oh boy. Okay, I need to learn that. So I need to take a let me use one of my little sticky notes. Can't say the real word here. My sticky notes here, and kind of
And
listen to something.
let me tell you the HR way.
Let me tell you. I don't know if I have ever used the actual term HR way.
Oh no, just putting in your voice.
Okay. So it's just
Comes
an
across in
okay,
your
okay.
voice.
Well, we're gonna kindly move past that and kind of floor that for now, and
Anyways.
we are never gonna come back to it. So the one thing I want to talk about is kind
Perfect.
of like the stigma or the stigma tax that comes along with separations. Period, whether it be a
Yes.
layoff or whether it be a termination, and what is that one question that you always asked me whenever I got laid off, or that somebody asked you when you get laid off or terminated? What do they ask you?
Why?
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 Or
What you
what did you
do?
do? And
What did
I
they
know I've heard.
say? What reason did they give?
Yep. Those are my
Did you have
questions. I
any
love asking them.
write-ups?
Oh yeah. So those are mine. I do my investigation just to make sure, because you know me, I'm HR. I gotta know anything. And so that's one of the biggest questions is, what did you do? And sometimes you kind of put your head down and kind of stumble along and just try to discuss what happened, what didn't happen, what you thought happened. And the
And
thing
sometimes
is
it's a
that,
total mystery.
right, most of the time you don't know. You really don't.
And I've
And you
been
probably never
separated
will.
and yeah, and never have known, never will know, and don't care to know
Nope.
because I've moved past it.
And that's great advice, Jesse. And I go ahead and answer that now. How do
Right,
you get past it? What do you
right.
keep telling yourself? What do you remind yourself?
And the worst thing that you could do, and I've done this, is to sit in it for the next 6 months. And it comes better. Unemployment can be a crutch. Sometimes it's a saving grace. Uh, when you do get that after you've been separated, to help pay with bills, but it can also become a crutch and well, I'm good right now. Don't have to work. Money's still coming in. And for me, it has become a crutch to where I'm not actively looking for any next jobs because I don't want to. I just got devastating news that upturned my life, and I have resentments building against those people now, and questions swimming around my head that will never be answered. And I can stay in it and stick in the mud and the crud, or I can pick myself up, myself up, and just keep on stepping.
And that's the difficult part. It's almost just like what would you say, like a bad breakup. that
Yeah,
that you
it
would go
is.
through on not knowing what a bad breakup is about, right?
Our
And I
workplaces are a very integral part of our life where we spend a significant amount of time and energy
so true,
in.
so true. And yeah, it's where you spend, I mean, what, 8 to 10 hours, if that, quote
Or
unquote,
more.
little amount, right, that you
That
spend in an
that's
office
just
or with these people.
for me. That was just on property, 10 hours minimum every day on property, and then plus whatever I was doing after work and at home.
And that's and so that just makes it a little bit more. And then for some of us, and myself included, it becomes of who you are. That's almost like a an extension of your personality, of your soul, of who you are. It shows up on um who you are and what you represent. And so that kind of can become personal, and you kind of can stew in that for a very long time, and sit there. I mean, I can tell you, I've been laid off from a position, and I'm like, why? What did I do? And I stewed in it for probably a good couple of weeks, and I found myself crying, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with saying that. And then I kind of look back at what happened and blame myself and ask what if and what did I do
Right.
this. And luckily I have great friends out there, Jesse
I was just
included,
gonna say.
of saying, you're great. It wasn't not necessarily what you did. Now if you got fired, that's a different story, but if you got laid off, it's you're a
Maybe.
great person. It just may not be what's needed at that moment.
Even if you get
And
fired, it's still just a separation. Your employer has decided that they no longer want you part of their organization, and they have found a valid reason for that, and they have to protect their organization.
huh, that's actually a really good way of thinking about that. I don't know if I've ever thought about it that way, but very good. Very good. I like that.
But what
Uh,
you're saying about the friends and family portion of that is like, yeah, that's awesome when your friends and family surround you. But if you're one of those friends and family members that wants to continue prodding and asking questions and the what did you do, and you have to know a reason, come on, just tell me. It's it makes things worse. It makes things worse for that person when you're not
yeah.
supportive of, hey, it's gonna be okay, and especially with, in my situation where my parents have had to support me financially. God bless them because they have put any feelings or questions that they might have had aside and asked me once or maybe twice of why I thought the reason was, and if there wasn't any given. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was told, and they believed me, and then we moved past it, and we
Just
just
dropped
kept
it.
on
Yeah.
stepping as a family and took care of business.
Well, and that's almost like you're talking with your friends, your family, and you're like put in the spotlight where you have that like investigative light on you when you say that you got fired.
Mhm.
What did you
Exactly.
do? What's going on? Then get that flashlight, put it in your face. What happened? Did it happen? And then layoff is like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's bad, but it's still the fact of you still don't have a job. But both of them can come across both ways. Of, all right, you got laid off, get back, let's go.
Hmm.
Okay, you got fired. What the
Hmm.
heck did you do? Do better. And then also your
Right.
family can treat you differently depending on what word you use or what choice of words you use. Or your
True.
family can be very comforting, and that sucks
Hmm.
too. And that's,
Yeah.
for somebody like me, that's your chosen family and your actual real family. I'm a firm believer that you
Yep.
have both of those.
Yep.
That you
Yep.
have your chosen family and then your birth family. So it doesn't matter which one. It really matters on how you explain it to them, what's going on, and then where do you want to go from there. And then how you want to build yourself from one way or the other. And I think that's one of the
Hmm.
biggest things that you were talking about is like your family, your friends need to be there and actually build you up, not necessarily tear you down.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
also don't, what is it, beat a dead horse or beat a dead draw or what, something like that. Whatever. But then you
Don't beat
also,
a dead horse. Someone who's already down and hurting and everything. They don't need
yeah,
another gut punch.
yeah, exactly. I mean, what's the point of doing that? You're just gonna, make them further and further down in their, you know, sorrow that they have for losing a job and not having it. Maybe it was
Yes.
one of their perfect jobs that they had and absolutely loved it, and they just got laid off. Whatever. But
Yes.
it's just something like that. And then it kind of moves on to the shame portion of. I was watching Game of Thrones videos just a little bit ago, and all I can think of is ding ding shame, ding ding shame, ding ding shame, and so
Yep. You get marked. Places
yes,
a
you
mark on you,
do.
it feels like.
Yeah,
And
almost like the whole
especially when you're
Scarlet
going
Letter
to the
type of
next
thing.
employer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the
Well,
next
yeah,
employer and
because
they have that question and it's like you don't and in my mind, I mean you have to think, well, maybe they just want to know to have a conversation about it. And
right.
that's why they put it on their application and they want to see you be truthful because they're able to look or there's lots of connections in certain industries and people know each other a lot in certain industries and they want to see that you're being
If you're
honest and
being honest,
truthful,
yes. Thank you. Being
especially when
honest and
you're
truthful. That's what it is. And I
yeah.
can say without a shadow of a doubt that I believe everyone in the course of over the course of their life, I can't say everyone because using totalities is not the best, but just about everyone has been fired from a job. And if
But
you tell
then
me
the
no, you've never
unfortunate
been fired, that's we all have to
right.
learn, but it's how
But
you
the
represent
but
yourself.
the unfortunate part that isn't taught to the recruiters that a lot of especially large corporations hires that when they're sifting through applications, a lot of them are just seeing that and going right past you.
Yep.
And that's not right.
Nope.
That
That's
shouldn't, that mark, it should be taught as for you to look further into their experience and maybe look at their gaps or whatever. That should just be, you still should be considering this person if they are
mhm.
qualified in their experience as a potential candidate, not just scrolling past them because they have that mark on there.
Yeah, that's that whole like 5 second rule that normally comes by. You have 5 seconds to make a good impression or a bad impression. And I completely agree with that. Just
Right.
because you've been laid off or terminated from a position does not mean that you are a bad person or a bad employee. You could have
Exactly.
had mismanaged. You could have been mismanaged. You
Hmm.
could have, you
Not
know,
given the
had
tools
a
that you needed to do
right.
your job properly.
That happens quite a bit actually.
Hmm.
And it just may be the fact of you were not in a good place yourself. We
Right.
all have those. I have
Hmm.
had places in my life or times and periods in my life that I have not been my best.
Right.
Is that a reason that I might have gotten fired or terminated from a job? Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
so, and that's not bad. And then the other thing
That's
is
okay.
like you said, be truthful about it
Be
and make sure
truthful.
that you just explain what you learned from the situation.
Exactly.
What did you learn? Yes, I unfortunately have been separated or I have been terminated from a position is because of this reason. This is what I learned from it, and this is how I've control or continued to grow professionally. And that's just
And I
something
will
that we want
tell
to see.
you, and I will tell you if you still have any sort of resentment towards that and you're going into interviews with it, it's not going to come out good.
Nope.
Any of it won't come out good
Oh, it'll
because you're
come.
still
Hold on
harboring
to that. Yep.
pain and hatred towards that situation and the a good interviewer will pick up on that.
Yeah, and they have that old saying of "fake it till you make it." Sometimes that fake it is not really good faking. We're not all actors, that's for sure.
It's fake. It's fake.
Fake it. Yeah. Cheers to that. So the other thing that some people may ask is, what happens with unemployment?
Yeah.
Do you automatically get unemployment when you're laid off?
Sometimes it's up to the states. Sometimes it just depends on checking certain boxes and telling the story. But again, the honesty in there, and there's always room to explain yourself. And when you're first filing for the unemployment, and it was a separation, it was a termination, be truthful about that. I have gotten unemployment from terminations because I was truthful and I explained myself and was given the opportunity to show my side of it. And I've had an employer in the past come back to fight it
Oh,
and
yeah.
say that I was causing all this stuff and different things after I had got terminated. But that doesn't matter. Yeah, I regret some things that I did after getting terminated, but fortunately, in my case, that didn't apply because they had already separated employment with me, and the case stops there. Your case
Yeah.
is done.
It
They
doesn't go any
can't
further.
use anything after to
Nope.
try to reason why you shouldn't be getting unemployment. Not to say that
Well,
you should do something or retaliate,
definitely don't.
but
Definitely don't.
I wouldn't say
But
definitely don't. But I've
no, don't.
regretted
I
things
would
that I
say
have
definitely
done.
don't. That can that more than
It
likely
can
will
be
not come out in your
detrimental.
favor.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree
But
with that.
yes, being laid off, you're more than likely going to qualify for unemployment. I cannot guarantee that. I can't say that yes, you will, because there are
Sure.
different circumstances in every state, every unemployment district, every unemployment area that has some type of qualifications that you may have to meet. And
Hmm.
so maybe you haven't been there long enough. Maybe you haven't earned enough money. I don't know. It could be all kinds of different things.
Yep.
Now, if you are fired or terminated, and it's kind of interesting. I just picked this up on myself by myself. Is I like to say the word terminated. I don't like to say the word fired.
Right.
And
Or
fired
you're
just sounds
separated.
very negative. And when I'm generally talking about somebody leaving a company for no matter what, no reason, I generally use the word separation. Any
Mm-hmm.
separations from employment, blah blah blah. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
explain to you if you were laid off, you were terminated, you quit, nothing. It's just a separation. Anyways, I just thought about that.
Right.
But I'm going to go back to termination. If you're terminated, you may not qualify for unemployment again
Mm-hmm.
because being terminated for particular reasons or for cause can disqualify you from unemployment.
Yes.
And I can tell you personally, I have been denied unemployment and I had to fight it just like Jesse did. But it was also not for a termination, it was for a separation or a quit for reasons that I'm not going to state. But it also was a chore to go through to try to fight
Mm-hmm.
that because
Yeah.
you
It's
may
worth it.
say, just like you did earlier, you had to fight it for certain reasons why you were terminated.
Yeah. It's
And I
hard
can
to
tell
have
you,
to
I've been
go
on
through
both ends of
that.
those.
It's hard to have to go through that because you're wanting to focus your time on getting another job, but you also need income. And this is delaying, again, getting that income in. And so it's always a hard situation when you, for any reason, get separated from a job because of
Yeah.
that loss of income. If especially if you don't have that 3 months of emergency funds built up, it can be really detrimental.
Yeah. Did we just talk about that? But
Mm-hmm.
but yes, that is so true. Is you're going to get unemployment. It's probably the littlest amount that you're used to because of the fact of
Sure.
unemployment is supposed to help bridge your gap to your next employment. But sometimes you're still fighting for that, and you're not able to focus fully on getting a new job,
Yeah.
applying for jobs, putting your whole heart in it because you're still fighting for that little bit of money that you need to survive.
So many of us are having to live paycheck to paycheck.
A lot of us. That's absolutely for sure. A lot of people have to live paycheck to paycheck, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and we don't have that opportunity to save that 3 months. I think we talked about that at length last during our last podcast. Go check it out at YoureTooValuable.com if you haven't checked it out. Shameless plug there. But whenever you're being laid off, or I'm sorry, whenever you're being terminated, uh, it's a good thing, and I'll get more into kind of like the nitty gritty of it here in a little bit. Is when you're terminated, make sure you're documenting everything, because I can tell you your company is documenting everything, and if they're not, that's not good for them.
Yeah.
If you have somebody as good as an HR person as I am, then you make sure that all the documentation is there and it suffices for what's necessary.
Yes.
So, you yourself, as an employee, as a team member, now former team member, should be documenting all of that yourself. And this is for both of them, whether you're laid off or you're terminated, because you need to have that documentation for yourself. And my personal
9 times out of
thought,
10, you're not going to get it.
no, you're not. Because I'm not going to go
It's
into that, but
legality, because it's
I'm not.
legality issues.
There you go.
And
Thank you. That's a proper way of saying it.
and
There are legal reasons behind it and liability reasons
the
behind it. There
doing
you go.
that, the company by doing that, the company can be held liable for certain things if they put the wrong thing on something that they give you.
That is completely true. Very, very true. And so, so that way, have your documentation. And again, going back to my opinion, because that counts the most, is that if there is a proper termination that comes about, you should know it's coming for one reason or another, whether it be performance, whether it be for attendance, whatever happens, you should know that termination is coming as an employee. It should never be a surprise. Layoffs, completely different story. You probably will never know that you're going to get laid off. Some companies will tell you, oh, hey, we're going to lay you off, and they have that warn notice. If you don't know what a warn notice is, it's a notice that an employer has to file with your state that lets them know that there are a certain amount of people being laid off. Every state has it, and they're all online. It's a good thing to check every now and then. So just Google online, warn notice. So,
Fortunately, they should be required to put it on the website and tell their employees, but our laws are messed up, and that's not the case. So let's change that.
Anyway, so I'm going to continue going on. I don't want to get into that.
The big thing that happens when separation, a lot of people run into, and I myself, is your insurance. So what happens with that? And you're paying $250, $350 a month of out-of-pocket expenses that come out of your check to cover your insurance premium.
Yeah.
And then I get this lovely letter in the mail from this thing called Cobra. And all of a sudden it says, well, if you'd wish to continue your insurance, it's going to be $750 to $800 a month now.
Surprise!
And that's because Cobra does protect your insurance and allows you to gap it until you get another potential job with insurance benefits. But
up to 18 months.
Employer is no longer contributing to your premium. You have to pay the full premium.
Yes, you have to pay the employer contribution as well as your premium. And believe it or not, the employer does pay, normally, not always, does pay a significant portion of your premiums. And so, yeah, you may be paying $200, $300 a month, but your employer is paying $400, $500 a paycheck, which is equates to $1,000 a month. So you're paying both of those now.
It can be really scary. And then most people are definitely not going to be able to afford that. And then your insurance lapses and you no longer have medical coverage. And once again, reason that we want to avoid this whole situation, but it's hard.
Yeah, it is very difficult, and that's some of the things that definitely is a stigma about it is that loss of coverage as well as any type of hidden cost that comes out with it, and nobody warned you about that. Nobody's
Mm-hmm.
if I'm doing a separation conversation with somebody, I'm not letting them know what their full Cobra costs are. One of the
Right.
reasons for that is that
Right.
generally also includes a 5% fee that the Cobra
Yes.
company that's providing Cobra adds on top of that premium. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
that is also your responsibility, another hidden cost.
But there are ways that you can also help bridge a little bit of a gap, hopefully. And I know you've had experience with this, Greg, of getting severance. And
Yep.
especially that mostly happens when being laid off or separated. Not so much of the terminated part, but and and being able to understand that you don't need to take the first offer that they give you. You can actually negotiate that. A lot of companies will negotiate that, and if you have been, an all-star, but I'll let you speak to that since you've had
No, no,
experience.
no. Here, I'm going to give you the severance agreement. You sign it for me right now before you leave this chair. That's
Yeah,
what you
sure,
do.
exactly.
That's
And
what you do.
and
That's what I'm offering you.
is
That's all
there
you get.
something? Yeah, no,
So what do you
absolutely
mean
not.
severance is negotiable?
It
I've
can
never heard
be.
of that before.
Oh, really? Oh, we're gonna go there now. Oh, really?
I don't know. If you're not watching the podcast, you can just see
Wow.
my evil little grin that I have on my face. Um, but no, that's what this is a fair and equitable agreement that we have given from the company to you to allow
Yes.
you an extra
Yep.
compensation to leave the company. Here you go. Sign right
Sometimes
here.
it's a fair offer, sometimes it's not.
So yes, I will go back is and this is just about for anything with a company or anything that you're doing because this is life in general. Everything is negotiable. As my mother used to tell me, what can they do? Say no? What's the worst they can do? Say no? Okay. Yeah. And no. All right. Well, then you're
Right.
still in the same boat that you were before. Sometimes they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can do this or maybe I can do that or whatever. The other part of it I can say is anything in your job or your anything that's supposed to continue on after your job is negotiable. And that
Mm-hmm.
is your pay is negotiable, your severance pay, your benefits are also negotiable. You can have them pay for your COBRA costs for a certain amount of months or weeks or whatever.
Yep.
Again,
Yep.
more than I would say more than likely not. It's not going to happen. But what can they say?
Sure.
Nope.
Right.
And I have tried to negotiate severances that I've had from some of my companies. Has it worked? Yeah. Has it not worked? Yeah. It has not worked.
Sure.
And so it just depends on the company. And it's like, are you gonna accept it or not? And yes, you're going to accept every single time, right, Jesse?
No. Absolutely not.
Yes, I'm shaking my head. Yes, you're gonna
Yeah.
accept it every
And
time.
that's the subliminal messaging that HR likes to try and
There's no subliminal messaging. You're gonna sign it
beam over
every
to
time.
while you're sitting in a room with them by themselves and listen to me. You're gonna do exactly what I say. No, absolutely
No,
not.
no. As somebody who has been through this multiple times, more than I'd like to say, always read through it and look what's going
Unfortunately,
on.
I think it's more a reality than a lot of people. I've been through it multiple times. We know other people have been through it a lot. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like there's been a huge change in that people are treated as they are disposable now in
Yep.
one little thing or one little mess up, and a lot of companies are so afraid of liability issues that could come up and getting sued that they just want to get this person and cut out the crap from company that they think is the reason that they're not doing well as a company, and they gotta, downsize and control. And I mean, it gets crazy sometimes, especially with what we talked about before, the addition of AI. And I think we have another episode coming up this year about talking about that, and the workforces that are being cut because they're able to be replaced with some AI generation as well.
Yes, that's very true. AI is being very big right now. Kind of scary. Definitely scary in my area of work. But yes, and many of our listeners, probably more than I would care to say, are going through layoffs. And you're seeing it every day. So and so company is laying off 200 employees. So and so company is laying off 10,000 employees. XYZ company is laying off, 20,000 employees over the next 6 months. And it's crazy because of all these different things. And so the one thing that you also have to realize and look into that is how does that look out? How does that look when you're continuing your job search? I know you had stated earlier today that you were talking about um, going to look at LinkedIn and putting that information on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
How does that go on your job search?
Right.
And I know you had said earlier about and I think we talked about this like kind of in one of our previous episodes is, don't look at that gap in service as a negative. You don't know what happened and you don't know what the
Exactly.
purpose was, right? Yeah. Isn't that what
Exactly.
happened? We said
They
last time?
they could have been on maternity leave, and you now have just judged a protected class of person and passed by them as being a candidate because you didn't take the time to call them and ask them about their gap.
Yeah. And so lots of protected classes on there. But what I can tell you is, um, whenever you're looking at the job, when you're out there looking for jobs and you have to do that, don't worry. I don't know if I want to say it that way. What I was going to say is don't worry about what your job was going to say about you because there are
Mm,
protections. There are things
mm.
that they can and cannot say about you. And the only
Best of
information that the job can actually say something about you is your pay, if you're rehireable, and if you were terminated or if you left on your own accord.
But unfortunately, that's almost sometimes is not the case. The bigger companies definitely handle it, I think, well. But
Yeah, I agree with
uh,
that.
one thing that I've had before is either myself, if it's a huge company, or have a friend call in and just see what they say when you do ask.
Yeah, and the thing is that's ground for defamation if they talk negative about you. And so,
Mhm.
as somebody that is brilliant in HR, like myself, you know, uh, definitely not a big head around here, but
Oh my God.
is you have to be careful of what you say and what you respond to. I've had many of verification of employments of, was this person terminated for cause? What was the reason this person was terminated for? Are they rehireable? Do they did they have an attendance problem? Did they have any type of disciplinary problems? Those are questions that I can't ask. I can ask
Right.
when you got hired, when you left, how your compensation was, and compensation is generally only allowed if you release that information, and then if
Hmm.
you're hireable or not rehireable,
Right.
and your title. Sorry. So those are like the main things that you can ask, and then I can give you. If anytime any of those questions come up on top of a verification of employment or what you do, not responsible, not responding. uh, company decided not to respond. Company's not responding. I'm not going to say anything. One, for me, and I don't know if I can speak for most of us as an HR folks, we don't know. We didn't get the whole lowdown story. We got a brief overview of it. I don't know if you had attendance problems. I don't know. I know you may have had a performance problem because we wouldn't be in the situation in the first place. But
Exactly.
other than that, I don't know. And then let's say I
If
leave.
you actually communicated.
Yeah, if I leave and I go to another company, the new person's not going to know that. They weren't there when you
Mm-hmm.
left. I've worked for lots of different companies that, we HR folks, move around a lot. And so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened prior to my time. Sometimes there's good notes, sometimes there's not good notes. Sometimes there's not a system, just like Jesse was saying earlier. And so, that's just what happens. And just know on your background checks, that's something that, you can be comfortable with and knowing that they can't say that. The other one that I
Exactly.
want to kind of test onto that is like your reference checks. Generally, for the most part, a former employee, again, should not be completing a reference check. And if you're completing a reference check and they're talking negative about you, should you be using that person as a reference check in the first place? Should you
Exactly.
not be pre vetting your reference checks?
You definitely need to be.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's asking me to do a reference check for them. Oh, no, they were a horrible employee. You don't want to have them. They were always late coming in. Is that a reference you want to hear from?
Definitely
And,
not.
I don't know. I'm not always the biggest fan of reference checks because of the fact um, of you're only going to get like the bright side of somebody. You
Yes.
are rarely going to get the real news per se
Mm-hmm.
because it's protected,
It's protected.
defamation.
Exactly. Yep.
And so, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to, go into any legal route saying, "Oh yeah, I talked negatively about it. I slandered you. I, was defaming
Sure
your
hope
character.
no.
Nothing." And so,
Right.
I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to give you simple fact answers, and that's it.
Yep.
Not going to happen. And for all of our HR folks out there, I would advise you to do the same thing. You don't need to give it. You don't know, and if you know, you don't know.
You don't.
If you understand or catch my drift. But
I
the
think I
thing
got you down.
is
Yeah.
what we were talking about earlier was if you have this happen to you where you are terminated or you are laid off, be truthful about it. Don't lie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because I can tell you, in being in HR for a while, you know people, and you know people
Yep.
that know people, and you know
Yep.
people that know people that know people.
Talk about how you accepted it and you learned from it, what you learned from it, and and the best thing that I think an interviewer can hear from interviewee
Yep.
is how it's now made you better as a person because you were able to recognize that yes, there was a problem that you were caught up in and you chose that you were terminated if you were terminated for that issue,
Mm-hmm.
but that you've changed and you're no longer that same person.
Yep. And that's the best thing to do. Be honest. And I've been told, and honesty is the best thing. That's the best
Honesty
thing
is
you can
key.
do. And so I agree with that there too. Just be honest about it. Uh,
Yeah.
Now I want to kind of wrap up this episode with a little bit more kind of a checklist of what's going to happen as
About that severance agreement that I'm not going to
about
sign. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
about the severance agreement that you are going to sign. Yes, yes. No, I'm not going to go there, but kind of like a self checklist that you want to go through mentally with what you're going. So kind of like a what to do when
Sure.
this happens, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen to everyone, one time or another, and also, or if you quit. I mean, nobody's going to be in a job for their whole
Sure.
life anymore. It just doesn't happen.
Yes. Exit interviews are a
That
huge
too.
thing.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kind of recant what I said earlier. Don't sign anything right then and there. You don't
Nothing.
have to. And
Yeah.
I know I might piss off some of my HR people out there, but I find this to be fair. And what I would advise you,
It's their
I'm
choice.
talking to you like I'm talking to like Jesse or another friend of mine of, you know, what should I do in this situation? Don't sign anything. You don't need to. Is there a disciplinary action that day? One, you should not have a disciplinary action on the same day that you get terminated. Should not happen.
Right.
Say nothing, sign nothing, because you are technically still employed at that time until that phone call is over and they terminate you. Everything, again, just like in law, can be used against you. And so don't say anything. Don't incriminate yourself. Don't do something that would be stupid. And yes, I'm saying that. Then collect yourself because it's going to be emotional. Try not to be emotional about it, but it's going to
Go
be.
home. Don't jump on the
Go home.
freeway and start driving erratically.
No, don't do that. Go home. Go to your favorite, you know, woosah place and
Get
breathe.
some serenity. Yep.
And take a moment. Understand that this may not have been your problem, whether it was a layoff or if it was your problem, it was a termination.
Yeah.
How can I help myself and make this better?
But even though we are
Then,
advising you to not sign things, you still need to read it.
yes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not done yet. Once you get done and you have a clear mind, read everything. Yeah. Read. And I know society has gotten into this point of just sign, because everything has these terms and conditions. Yeah, scan and sign, scan and sign.
But there's a lot of stuff in there for very certain reasons.
There is, and a lot of them these days, being general, have non-competes in there. You may have even signed a non-compete when you first started your job.
Or something saying that you're not allowed to take legal action.
Right. You might be waiving a right.
Your legal right.
Yeah, you might be waiving your right to sue. That generally comes with a severance agreement. You might have, and I always kind of mess up on this word, a disparagement. I don't know. Hopefully I said that right. Agreement or clause that states you can't talk negatively about a company after you left. And that's becoming more things because, people read those reviews on, on not Nextdoor, on Glassdoor. And they read those reviews on Indeed. And so if you signed the non-disparagement agreement, you can't say anything because that can void and you can become liable for those words.
Legal action coming back to you,
right back to you,
making it even worse for your separation.
Yep. And as somebody that is not in HR, as somebody that's not speaking of HR, get it in writing that you were terminated. Most states these days, you have to have some type of letter saying that you were terminated.
And a lot they'll never do. So that's for big corporations that are following stuff to you like that. But I mean, the average person working there, you're not going to get anything. But ask. It's always good to ask and ask for copies. If they don't give you anything, ask for the copies of stuff that they wanted you to sign.
And certain states have certain laws. When you ask for copies, you're allowed a complete copy of your entire employee record.
Yep.
The only thing you're not allowed to in your employee record is anything that is completely confidential or it has to stay with the company. And that's it. And other than that, you're allowed to have a copy of your complete employee record. So if you have a performance improvement plan or disciplinary action or whatever, those are things you can ask for copies of. And we have to give them to you. It's a law.
Exactly.
But again, don't sign anything right away. Don't say anything right away because you're going to be emotional, pretty sure. If you need something, put it on paper. Be professional about it.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember, anything that is written, recorded, can be admissible in a court of law. And I can tell you as an employer, I tell my staff that. I tell my friends that. I tell everyone that. Anything you say that's recorded or written is admissible into a court of law because that's evidence.
And take your ass to the unemployment office website. Get there as soon as you can, because
yes,
they're
go
not
file
going
for
to
that
pay.
unemployment.
You're not going to get paid until you file, and they don't do any back pay. Most states, at least.
Yeah, some of them don't. Some of them do. It depends on when you actually file. But if you wait to file, and let's say you wait 2 or 3 weeks, they're not going to pay you back for those 2 to 3 weeks.
Nope.
I mean, some of them have like a 1 week holding period, a waiting period, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you file right away, so that waiting period can continue or to start right away. But if you wait 2 or 3 weeks and then, let me file, nope, you're not going to get that. You lost out.
Yep.
So to wrap up today, and kind of to close this up and some takeaways that you can have, is either one of them better?
Absolutely.
Would you say,
not.
Jesse? No.
I mean, it can be a blessing in disguise sometimes.
That, I will cheers to that with my water. So true. So true, can be a very much a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
And I would agree with that.
Employee or employee, that I agree. I put on, especially managing hotels and working directly for owners. I've put on an owner mentality hat and had the same interests that the owner of the hotel had.
Yep.
And have aligned in that this is just something that needs to happen, and both of us are going to be fine in the end.
Yep. And I have said this to bosses. I've said this to friends, to family. This is one job. There are millions and millions of jobs out there. You're going to find a new one. It may take a minute, but you're going to find one.
You have to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do for a little bit before you get there. I've done it many a times. But allow yourself to kind of grieve that, because it is a loss.
It is.
And it is going to hurt. But give yourself that moment. But get back into it quickly. Don't dwell on it. And of course, I know that's easier said than done. But like we said earlier, Jesse, don't dwell on it for 6 months. Don't beat yourself up, because it may be in something that you had no control over. It may be a learning, and it may be something that you kind of, what could I have done differently to not had me be fired or terminated? And it's a learning opportunity for yourself.
Exactly. That's the biggest part. That's the biggest takeaway. Learn from
it. Jesse, do you have any other closing thoughts other than those? I know I kind of took a lot of it.
No. Yeah, no, the biggest thing, like I talked about before, is just don't sit in it. I know it's hard. You may be in it right now yourself and listening to this episode. I mean, if you haven't filed for unemployment, even if you don't think that you're going to get it, just go ahead and get it done.
Again, all I can do is tell you no. And then you can appeal it and fight it. And there's the whole process.
You can appeal it. And yeah, it may take time, it may take resources, but you could get approved for it and have a new job, and then all of a sudden you get some payments from that. And and that can be a blessing to someone.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of steal what Jesse said earlier. It might be a blessing in disguise. Might be the best thing for you. You know, it may look horrible and bleak now, but let me tell you, things are gonna get better in the future, and they do. Well, I think this was fantastic. Oh, go ahead.
If you are going through something that relates to this episode or any of the other episodes that we've talked about, I mean, like I said before, we're really here for you. to listen and learn about what's going on. And we have lots of resources to help out and get you pointed in the right direction. So don't ever feel bad about reaching out to us. We love hearing from people. We love hearing their stories. We love talking to the people that have reached out to us so that we can work together to get on a better track. It helps both of us.
And where can they send that information to?
You can email us at stories@YoureTooValuable.com, or privately message us on any of the platforms, Facebook, TikTok. You can leave us a comment on one of our videos just saying, hey, can you send me a message? I'd like to chat.
Jesse's been really good at seeing those, yeah. And then
we'll get back to you.
Yeah, email us. Let us know. We want to hear from you. And we know this is affecting a lot of people out there. If you need some help, we can reach out. We can help out with that, give you some advice. Robbie is going to be great at business advice. Jesse's going to be great at personal advice. I'm going to be good at all advices, of course.
HR does it all, don't they, huh?
Yeah, we do. And so our next episode is going to be one of my favorites yet again. I think a lot of these are my favorites, but this is a really big one for me.
Did you come up with this one? Was this one of your
something ideas? Probably so. Is episode 5 is going to talk about work friends, or are they just colleagues? And you spend a lot of time with your coworkers, so can they become your family, your chosen family, as we were talking about earlier? Or, are they just there for the time being? Or are they there for life? You don't know. So join us next week so that way we can discuss that and see how that comes about and what our thoughts are on that. That is one topic I would love to hear somebody else's opinion about, because I've had some doozies and some fantastic things in my life go on with this. And I can't wait to explain it, because there's some good things, there's some bad things.
We're hoping Robbie's back next week. If not, we might be
that would be good if Robbie's back.
Join us, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah. But follow us on, go to our website, YoureTooVal.com. You are the number 2, VAL.com. And check us out on there. You can see all of our social media pages, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify, all the different ones that we have on there, or that are out there. Come by, say hello, drop us a line. We really appreciated it. I thought this was going to be a shorter podcast, but it looks like it's pretty much the same length, because I get passionate about things.
We had a really good discussion.
Thank you
for listening, everybody.
Yes, thanks for tuning in. We will see you soon, or we will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.
See you next week, everybody.